Welcome to the So Social Radio Show. I'm your host, Richard Martin, along with my magnificent co-host,
Cheri Martin, and we are the WCN Interactive Team, business growth, marketing, and social media strategists, helping you to
dream it, plan it, build it, and most importantly, successfully do it.
Yes, for growth, prosperity, and success. Each Wednesday at 12 noon on TalkNetworkRadio.com, we share tips and techniques to grow you and your business, plus demystify social media and marketing for you so you can have more fun.
And my favorite, more profits.
We all love those profits, don't we?
Absolutely so.
I mean, let's face it, that's why we do and work as hard as we do, because we want to make sure we are ever growing.
Absolutely, and ever contributing to not only just our radio audience, but our paying clients also.
Precisely. I mean, we love what we do, and our audience, I've received some messages from them these last few weeks saying that they're really enjoying the guests that we bring on, and they just love the fact that we really share our passion with them.
Well, we bring on guests that have so much information, so much value to partake. I mean, you could write volumes of books, and we ask them to condense it to 50 minutes. So,
Oh, I know it. And we're going to introduce to you our guest here in just a few moments today. She is actually from Tennessee, but she's calling in today from Washington State. So a lot of time difference, definitely, with us being on the East Coast here in Florida. But we do want to make mention to all of our listeners that you can always connect with us, Richard and Cheri, and the So Social Radio Show on Facebook, at So Social Radio Show. Give us a like. Let us know what topics you would like to hear a conversation on. We're all about education. We want to bring you what you want to learn. And also, there is a post, as always, on our So Social Radio Show page showing who our guest is. You can see the beautiful picture of Tara Wildner up there today. And if you have any questions at all for our guest today, just post them on the comment thread there. I'm monitoring the Facebook page, so definitely go to So Social Radio Show page. But first, we definitely want to do a shout out to our sponsors and our partners so we can then get started.
Absolutely. Without them, we wouldn't be here. But let's start off with Toastmasters, a world leader in communications and leadership development. Find out how you can improve your speaking and leadership skills by visiting toastmastersd84.org. That's toastmastersd84.org. And our computer person of record and the guy you want, and on that is Computer Rich LLC, your personal tech support. Visiting mycomputerrich.com, you'll find out how you can get initial consultation and evaluation at no charge. So give Computer Rich a call at 321-482-4567. And a nonprofit, my nonprofit of choice is the avetproject.org, and Kim and Garen Cohn do a magnificent job of supporting our veterans. If you have any way that you can help them financially or food or whatever, contact them at the avetproject.org. You can also listen to them on American Warrior Radio Show every Saturday morning at 11 a.m. on a different station. It's 1510 WMEL.
We also want to, of course, give a shout out to one of our partners, Constant Contact, an award-winning company empowering small businesses and nonprofits to grow and succeed through email marketing. You can be a marketer with their one toolkit, one login. Actually, go to bit.ly/WCN free CTCT. That's bit.ly WCN FREECTCT. Get started today growing your marketing list. You'll get a 60-day trial period so you can actually test them out. EverythingBrevard.com also is a Brevard County, Florida community website. Keep up to date with everything that's happening right here in our Brevard County area. If you're traveling here to Brevard, you can always check out all the different stuff that's going on in our community. But as a business, you can get your business listing on everythingbrevard.com. And if you'd like to learn how you too could be a So Social radio show guest, advertiser, sponsor, or partner, just visit our SoSocialRadioShow.com webpage and get all the information there. You can contact us through there. But right now, I am just very honored to have our next guest here. I'm going to do an official introduction of Tara Wildner. I had an opportunity to be on one of her telesummits just recently, and it was so much fun. So again, I'm just, excited to kind of turn the tables a little bit. I get to interview her now today, have a conversation with her. But Tara Wildner is a woman obsessed with the power of the web. She believes that there are tools online that, if utilized properly, can create life-changing opportunities for entrepreneurs passionate about serving the world. She is an online marketing strategist who creates strategies for purpose-driven entrepreneurs that are unique to them, their business, and their goals. For the hands-on entrepreneurs, she works with them through training programs that put the tools and knowledge they need in their hands. She is passionate about uplifting entrepreneurs online so they can make a huge impact with their special talent. And she is the owner of Envivo Creative, and she's an awesome web designer and online marketer. So, Tara, welcome to the So Social Radio Show. I am so looking forward to our conversation today about how to make a bigger impact online in less time.
Oh my gosh, me too. Thank you so much for having me, Cheri and Richard.
Well, again, our pleasure. I'm trying to think when we first met you. It was about a year ago. I mean, it seems, I don't want to say it seems longer, but I just feel we've really been able to develop a relationship from when we met in person and then, of course, continuing online. But I think it was at the Guerrilla Marketing Summit in November last year in Orlando.
It was. And I was actually in town ready to go to the next one, which is in Daytona, but I guess it was canceled right for, or because of the hurricane.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, ma'am.
Right?
Yes.
Yeah, I believe the hotel they were going to hold it on had some damage due to Hurricane Matthew, so it has been postponed until the spring, I believe. So we'll just have to get you back down here to go there.
Yes, but that was a really great event, the first annual Guerrilla Global Summit, and I was so happy to have stumbled upon you and Richard, and I'm really grateful for your friendship.
Oh, well, the same is here. Feeling is mutual. And again, I had so much fun being on the other side of this interview with you just recently at the telesummit. So this is going to be just, I know, our pleasure. Again, want to get to know you even better, but most importantly, to allow you to share your expertise and help our listeners with some more education on all of our favorite subject, online marketing.
Yes.
So I guess before we get started, I'd love for you to share with our audience how and when you actually began offering web design and online marketing services.
When did I start? So I started when I was 12, which was about 13 years ago. I was designing and developing websites before there were any programs like WordPress. So every time we wrote a blog post or a new page, we had to code it out by hand, like every single page. It was so much fun. So I watched the online space grow from this thing where we, some people might have had access to it in their homes to something that everyone has access to in their pockets. And a lot of our lives are dictated by the internet now. Mm-hmm. It's been amazing to watch that transformation. So I went to school for psychology, and halfway through I decided, I don't really feel like sitting around and talking to people all day and just having really heavy conversations like that, I was like, I don't think I'm emotionally cut out for this. But psychology is fascinating to me, which makes sense with me being an online marketer now.
Yes, I understand that.
I love it. So when I graduated with my degree in psychology, and I moved to Florida, and I started looking for jobs in web design and in psychology as well, and I had the hardest time finding a position. I found positions I was qualified for, but nobody was giving me a call back. I had professionals look at my resume, say it was totally fine, no red flags. I applied for one retail position. They were the only ones who called me and offered me a job. I was a cashier with a bachelor's degree.
Understand that one too.
Yeah, I like to joke that still 4 years later, I'm very bitter about it.
Yeah, like the rest of the country, we went through some doldrums a few years back, and a lot of people were in a survival mentality. Not that that's great, but when you are and you're trying to get a job, that's not the most fun position to have to fight through. But congratulations for becoming an entrepreneur and just taking it on yourself. Awesome.
Oh, thank you. Well, that's what I love about the internet. I just run around telling everyone, oh my gosh, you can just make a job for yourself. Because, that's actually how I got out of that. So about 9 months in, I wasn't moving anywhere in the company, and I was frustrated. So I registered the domain tarawilder.com and started a little freelance business. I got websites here and there, or project clients. Then one day, an IT company in Daytona called me, and it kind of sounded like they wanted to maybe contract work out to me. I wasn't sure at the time. Mm-hmm. I go in and meet with them, and it turns out it's a job interview. So they were looking to expand their offerings to their clients to include more creative services like online marketing. And they were looking for somebody to head on that effort. And they found me by searching web designer Daytona Beach. All because I had that website. Mm-hmm. I got that opportunity, and it's just been a whirlwind since then. And now here I am in front of you guys talking about online marketing, and it's something that I love to do, and I get to do it every day. Spoiler alert, unfortunately, I'm not with them anymore for a lot of different reasons. I miss them so much, but it was a really good experience for me, and that's how I got into online marketing.
That is a really cool story, because I believe when you talk to a number of entrepreneurs, they've gone through some similar situations, but they still have that desire, that dream to take it even further. And it starts where you really have to believe in yourself and trust yourself and just do it.
Yeah, I think that's truly it. And I believe in everybody who's out there. I truly think with the tools that are online, everything that's available to us, as long as we're physically capable, we can do anything we set our minds to. You can learn anything on YouTube. You can connect with anybody on any social media channel. It's incredible. So it might be difficult, but I believe in everyone who's listening. I think you can do it.
Well, I think for what you're saying about it, I think the difficulty lies between most people's ears and not with the technology.
Yes.
On that, but that's pretty typical. We come out of school at whatever level it is, and you start those first few job interviews, and it gets intense.
It was tough. It was really, really tough, and I like to say, a new adult, so I didn't have a lot of real world experience. So when I was sending in these applications and nobody was calling me back, and I was following up too, I started thinking, well, I have value to provide the world. Why doesn't anyone care? Mm-hmm. So I understand. I understand what's going on between the ears there.
Well, the perseverance pays off, and I do know that those that have hired you to help them with their services, you have a great reputation. It follows you, and I'm excited to see your business growing. So share with, again, our listeners, what is the biggest way an entrepreneur can spend less time marketing their business online? Okay,
so this is something I'm super passionate about. I say that most of us are CEOs. We're chief executive officers, but we're also chief everything officers, right?
Oh, gosh. Totally.
So if we don't have a wonderful partner like Richard or Cheri, we are often doing it all ourselves. And we only have 24 hours in a day, 7 days a week, just like everyone else. So it's really, really important for us to strategically use our time so we can do as much as we can effectively and efficiently. So what I'm really passionate about when it comes to spending less time online is actually knowing what you're doing. So I know you might have been expecting, or somebody listening might have been expecting me to say, oh, schedule your posts or automate this or that. But I think it's a long game. You need to know what it is that you're doing, what you're striving for. And when you have direction with what you're doing with your online marketing, in the end, you're making, like you said, a bigger impact. So once you start making a bigger impact, that ball starts rolling, you're able to spend less time while still building your following and growing your leads. So I think that the biggest way to spend less time online is to just have focus when you're doing it, not just shoot in the dark. Does that make sense?
Oh, most definitely. And I do believe that so many individuals, just they don't think of the intention. They just think, I'm supposed to be online. I'm supposed to be on Facebook. I'm supposed to have a website. Now they're telling me I have to do email marketing, and they don't focus or know exactly what objective they have. They just know they're supposed to do it. So they don't know what they're doing. They just know that they're supposed to be doing it.
Right. And I don't blame them either, especially because marketing isn't what they went into business for in the first place. Just like I didn't go into business to do bookkeeping or accounting.
That's so true.
And I think that we all have an expertise that's to be respected, but we can't all do it alone in business. So it's great that they even know to begin with that this is what you're quote unquote supposed to do, because that means they have knowledge. But every entrepreneur, every business has its own history and goals. It's completely unique. So there is not a one size fits all.
No, exactly. I know that we both think the same way. We help customize their strategy because like you just said, there's no one size that fits all. Even if it's a like-minded business, they most likely have different objectives. They also have different ways of doing things. So it is customized. Everything, I know your training is, my training is, it has to be customized for the individual. So they get the best.
Absolutely.
They get the best efforts.
Absolutely, absolutely. And yeah, while they may have heard from somebody that, oh, you must be on Instagram. Well, if they don't even have the time to be on Instagram, well, then that shouldn't be in their strategy. Because then if they're posting once in a while and they're not being very effective with it, they're not getting any results. They're not spending time marketing their business. So it's good to have a good start with knowing, quote unquote, what you're supposed to do. That'll give you guidance into really researching and seeing what's right for your business.
I'm sure you run into the situation many times when a potential customer or client talks to you. They probably they believe, like you just kind of mentioned, they need to be on every platform, but yet they don't have time to even do one right now. So they try to be everywhere, most definitely. So what is, when someone asks if they need to be on all the sites, how do you explain that to them? Or what do you say to them?
So I think if time, money, and resources were unlimited to them, then they probably could really benefit from being on all platforms. They could have this really robust strategy that ties together almost every social media platform, a really robust email marketing campaign, website, and so on. But who has unlimited resources, right?
Yeah, I'd love it. I don't think there are very many entrepreneurs that are really, especially startups, that have that.
Yeah, absolutely. So it's really, again, important to stay focused. So say say you are a startup, like a tech startup, you could really benefit from being on Twitter and Facebook. But if you don't have the manpower or resources to effectively run every area of your business and market on both, then just go to Twitter. It's okay to just do one not social media tactic, one online marketing tactic. Get really good at that and then expand. Does that answer your question?
Oh, most definitely.
I get excited and I just start rambling. And I'm
you're not rambling. You're making sense. Perfect sense.
But here's what it is.
Okay, good.
It's expressing your passion, and that's what people want. Is if they're going to hire a consultant, a web developer, a coach, or whatever, they want to know that you are as passionate about what you're going to teach them as they are passionate about what they want to learn. So it all comes together, and that's how the match is made. So please don't ever cut that back. It's great.
Of course, I love it. And when I first, and this is kind of going on a tangent, but when I first started my business, I thought there were two options. I could either be an agency with an office and employees, or I could be a freelancer. But as I started delving into this world of entrepreneurship and coaching and kind of just more unique online businesses, I realized I could just run around and gush about what I love to do, and I could meet with other people who are so passionate about what they do. A lot of times when I'm speaking with a prospect, we barely even talk about what their online marketing needs are. I just want to listen to them talk about what it is they love to do. This is an amazing world that we're in. It's incredible.
Well, talking about that, what are some of the common mistakes that you really see entrepreneurs make as they're trying to, start a business or grow their business?
When they're starting their business or grow their business. So something I've noticed myself is that they're unbalanced or imbalanced in how they spend their time. So there's a lot of different things we need to do. We need to prospect. We need to do sales, our marketing, our admin work, develop those products and services, and deliver them as well. So what I've noticed with the entrepreneurs I work with, that a lot of times they'll get excited with one of those categories of activities, and everything else will fall to the side. So, for example, actually, for the first several months of my business, I loved marketing myself, and I would go to networking events, but I wasn't doing sales. I wasn't picking up the phone and calling anybody and selling my services. I would only really sell to people when they'd come up and go, "You do social media or web design, right?" So, as a result, my business didn't really grow at all in the first several months. That's one of the biggest mistakes I see. And then in terms of, and by the way, before I move from that, I wanted to say it's just simply a skill or a muscle that's that you're learning. Because in my experience, most entrepreneurs like us didn't go to business or didn't go to school to learn about online business, So it's a huge learning curve. It's a huge learning opportunity for all of us. So I like the word mistake. I'm kind of torn on that word because the word mistake has a negative connotation to it, but I don't really, and I think it's the right word to use in this case, but I don't see anything wrong with it. It's a learning opportunity.
I totally agree with that. It's we can get so caught up in sharing our business, especially if you join a chamber of commerce, for example, and you start going to all the different events, and you start meeting new people, then you get into a leads group or a referral group, and you're meeting with them, and you're doing the one-on-ones. You can build those relationships, which all are very, very important. But you hit the nail on the head. You also at time need to be focused on learning how to ask for the sale or ask for referrals. And that is, I believe, one mistake that I have witnessed myself do, as well as others when they first get involved in different organizations. They're told you have to come to every event, you have to get involved, or you're not going to be able to meet people. And joining won't have any effect for you. So you really have to, as I love the word you use, try to get rid of that imbalance and balance yourself and start blocking out time for networking as well as the selling or the follow-ups, so that you are starting to ask. That I would agree, that is a mistake, and I think that word is okay to use in this because it's just about education, that they need to understand more on that.
I mean, a mistake at any level, whether you're a rookie just starting something out or you've been doing it for 40 years, a mistake is just nothing more than a learning opportunity when it comes down to it.
So it's just learning on some time management so they can really put that focus, as you mentioned earlier, on their marketing efforts, and then taking those marketing efforts and tapping into where they can actually sell their services.
Right. I have to say I am a completely different person now than I was 2 years ago because of all of the mistakes that I made when I first started my business. It's a huge learning opportunity, this journey that we're all on.
Oh, we're ever growing. I mean, no doubt. I mean, I say that social media or online marketing is still in its infancy. It's ever evolving, and we have to be ever growing, especially those of us that are in this industry, so that we can stay on top of all these curves that are happening, so we can then better service those that are really looking for the knowledge we have to share.
Yes.
Richard?
How does social media play into the web experience that we're talking about right now? You were talking about we need visitors to the website. Is social media that can do that, or can it generate sales by itself, or how does all that come together?
Okay, well, one of the things that I see entrepreneurs do wrong, and I touched on it at the beginning, was not, and I promise this is answering your question, I'm just taking a long way there.
That's fine.
Is the lack of focus. You have to think about your whole online marketing strategy. So the reason why I didn't go into business to be just a web designer or just an email marketer, search engine optimizer, is because there are many online marketing tactics, and each serves its own purpose in where it falls in your funnel. So in my eyes, there are three basic stages. Found first, then turning your viewers into followers, then converting the followers into paying customers or paying clients. There isn't one marketing tactic that can do it all effectively and efficiently.
Okay.
When you're thinking,
can you repeat those? Can you repeat those three one more? I heard you kind of cut out when you first started. So just repeat those three again, please.
Oh, okay, sure. Yeah, absolutely. So the three stages of online marketing is first getting found, then turning those viewers into followers, then converting them into paying customers. So if you think about it, could you hear me that time?
Yes.
Okay, good.
Thank you.
So if you think about it like in sales, when they just find you, they're completely cold traffic. They're not likely to purchase from you. Especially if you're offering a service that's more high end, it's an investment. It's not like $2-3 like an app on the App Store. It's something that they need to consider. They need to know, like, and trust you, right? So with social media, where I see that fall is more towards the beginning of that whole funnel. It's how people it's one of the ways people can first find you. It's nurture your followers and develop that relationship with them as well. So I would say that that's not the strongest way to make sales directly off of your social media channel. However, it's not impossible. Depending on the quality of your followers and where they are in your marketing funnel, they may be very, very receptive to sales. Like if they are mostly clients or prospects, then of course they'll be open to hearing you. But if there are people who are there for educational purposes or they've just gotten to know you, you need to nurture them in other ways. So, like I said earlier, no business is the same, so this may not fit for everyone, but you may have your social media channel and then you funnel them to your blog where you have a free download where they sign up with their name and email, and then you get their email address, and now they're in your email marketing funnel. You nurture them there, and then you may make the ask there, or have a webinar and make the ask there, and so on and so forth. So social media is super, super important, but when it comes to sales, I think a lot of entrepreneurs go there, promote their products and services, don't get any bites, and think that social media doesn't work. And it does.
Agree.
You just have to look at the big picture.
I totally agree with that. This is a platform to just get that visibility to get started.
Yeah, absolutely. So actually, when I meet entrepreneurs, they get really frustrated. They're like, I'm on Facebook, I'm on Pinterest, just like they told me, but I'm not getting any results. Well, first of all, what results did you want? And then once we look at what they were doing, all they're doing is selling, and that's
You're breaking up.
Breaking up a little bit there.
Oh,
there. Okay,
There
now I
you're
can
back.
hear you. Okay.
let
So
me see about moving to a different spot.
from one coast to the other, right?
Well, it's okay. So when there are technical difficulties, I always just take a moment and think about how amazing it is that we can even talk to each other right now.
Yes. I think so too. Yeah, definitely. So as you said, they really need to get more focused on what they really want to have, what they expected to have happen on social media.
And to have reasonable expectations as well. And
I
that's,
like that.
again, a matter of education.
Yeah, reasonable expectations. I like that. So moving on to then the viewers that you've been found. The viewers now, you want to turn them into followers. What's that step?
To know you and like you and trust you. That's when you're repeatedly giving them valuable content. You're showcasing who you are, what your values are, what you bring to the table, what makes you special, and how you can serve them. So that's when I consider people to be followers. So there are lots of, like, going back to social media as maybe the step one for some entrepreneurs. We've stumbled upon a lot of different social media channels throughout our days of, scrolling through Facebook, but that doesn't necessarily mean we're followers just because we saw those pages. We're viewers. We become followers when, of course, we like or follow the page, but also when our minds have opened up to consuming this content and we're kind of curious. We're like, oh, who is this person? And then, of course, there are different stages of being a follower, too. You could just be someone who's curious or someone who's a raving fan. Now, I wouldn't say raving fans are necessarily in the third stage, because you can have raving fans and not make a single dollar off of them. But they're still very beneficial. They're still singing your praises because they love you. But that's who I would say a follower is somebody who has opted to listen to you and is curious and open to hearing from you.
That's a very good explanation of those followers, because I do hear a lot from individuals. Well, I have all these fans, all these followers, but I'm not getting any sales. So what do I do with them? Like when I see a viewer on my page, how do I capture all this? So that's where you have to really have that formula or that strategy in starting to turn those individuals into customers, which is that third stage.
And I would actually like to address that comment, too, which is I have all these followers, but they're not turning into clients. Well, first, let's look at the followers. Are they your ideal client?
Very good point.
Yeah. So are they even your ideal client? Like my first few followers, like my first 10, 20 on my Facebook page were my friends and family. My mom and dad are my biggest fans, but they're not my ideal clients. My dad's a civil engineer. My mom's an office administrator. They're not exactly entrepreneurs.
Love it. Yes, I understand that too.
So if you're seeing you have a huge following and nobody's biting, look first of all and see who are they, and then look at your message and see if it's even resonating with them too. Because, for example, my ideal client, my target audience, is actually older entrepreneurs. So they're like in their 40s, 50s, and 60s. Of course, I work with people who are younger and older. But the way that I would speak to somebody who's my age, a millennial, is completely different than how I would speak to a female entrepreneur in her 50s with kids in college. So I need to make sure that because she's my target market, I can't talk to her like I would talk to myself. So So first I need to make sure that she's one of my followers, and then also I'm speaking her language, speaking to her pain.
That's, again, some very good points there. You have to know who your audience is and making sure that you're attracting more of those ideal potential clients to you so that your marketing message will resonate with the right people.
Yeah,
mm-hmm. It's the classic quality over quantity.
Yes.
For our audience here, would you give us one or two or three pain questions where you're trying to bring their pain out? How would you ask a question along those lines?
Discover what their pain is, you mean?
Correct.
In regards to, that's a good question. Well, every business is very different in how you would do that discovery, and a lot of times it turns into a conversation. So I would definitely recommend making it a conversation if you can, versus a survey. But if it's a survey, the question would be, or some questions could be like, okay, let's pick a business. So let's say you're a health coach and you focus on weight loss. So you say, what is the biggest reason why you want to lose weight? Then that'll kind of get them thinking into, well, you know, I want to feel better. I want to be able to move and be able to pick up my granddaughter. You can ask them, well, how does that make you feel? Furthermore, then you can say, well, what is it that you've done so far to do that? What has worked? What hasn't worked? What's frustrating you? You can just ask them straight, point blank, what their pain is. However, there are some pains that they know to be true inside but won't tell you. And then there are some pains that you know are true but they don't know. So they could, so pain that they know to be true but may not tell you is that pizza is just too delicious. And I don't want to stop eating pizza. And let me tell you that's a pain I will tell you.
Hey,
but that could be something that they're embarrassed. That could be something that they're embarrassed to admit, but it's a pain. It's that I'm kind of addicted. Or no, it's not that they're addicted to their food at that point. It's that I really like this and I don't want to stop. Yeah. But then the pain that they're not telling you is that they're emotionally addicted to it, and it's very difficult, and they're lost and confused about how to break out of that habit. You know, so that might be a pain or something that they're struggling with. So once you kind of discover that that's something that's holding them back, it's kind of a mental addiction, then you start speaking to that, and you start educating them and kind of bringing that to light. Not saying it outright, but kind of speaking to that pain, and they'll feel it in their hearts. They're like, you know what, this is kind of resonating with me.
So let me focus that in just a little bit more. When you're evaluating a prospect's or a client's social media, or you're reading their web page, how do you go about telling them without hurting them, so to speak? You know, could you just focus the point that you just went through?
In other words, to help them understand that they need to change up their message so that the ideal client they're searching for or want to attract can really resonate with their message.
So how do I evaluate whether or not their message is effective, or how do I tell them that their message could be tweaked?
How do you tell them?
Well, usually when we've gotten into a conversation already, they know that something is wrong and can be improved. So we'll start by, of course, telling them everything I like about them. Because there usually
I love that.
lot.
Yes, always give the positive. Yes, definitely.
Yeah, and I'm not just making it up either. Like we won't even get into that conversation if we don't connect with each other.
I love
but
that.
It'll start with, I think you are really serving your world in an amazing way. I'm so excited that you've even gotten this far. And most of the time, they haven't worked with anyone before because they're just starting out. So I love that you took your website into your own hands, or you started Facebook. And even if you were posting without a real strategy, and you might have been spending way more time than you needed to, now you have all of this data that we can look at. So this is the beginning of a new chapter. It's the beginning of a beautiful thing. So if I may make some suggestions, and then I go into what it is. So it actually really depends on the nature of our conversation.
That's perfect, Tara. Tara, it's like because now that you've captured their interest, that they know you can definitely assist them in turning those followers into potential customers because you've addressed what you are seeing and why they're not turning them in. That then brings you to that next step to help them put together the strategy. And most likely with online marketing, for being successful, there has to be some type of, again, an automation set up so that they can reach more people. So
Yes.
I guess share with our audience today some ways that one can automate their online marketing to tap into all of those that need their services.
Yes, yes. So that goes back to the very beginning, which was how can they spend less time? And yes, quite literally, it's automating. And we're chief everything officers. So if we can automate as much as we can, then we're able to do so much more. And, you know, there are all these tools, these technological tools that we can use. Why shouldn't we? So what I really like doing is, of course, scheduling social media posts in advance. So think about, I can't remember who it was. I think it was Todd Herman who said that it takes, every time we switch between tasks, it takes about 20 seconds for our brains to adjust. Mm-hmm. So if we were to post, like literally go out and post our social media posts every single day, like live, we are spending a lot more time than if we scheduled out all of those posts within the span of a couple of hours on a Sunday. Mm-hmm. Because we have to constantly be switching our minds back and forth between activities. So this is the psychology going into it now. Then think about all the time that you're spending stopping what you're doing, getting to your computer, typing all that out, thinking a little bit about, okay, get in the zone, then you're done, then you go back to what you were doing before. So I say set a time for yourself every week and schedule out those posts. There are lots of tools. I really like Hootsuite because, one, it's free for the first 3 social media profiles, and then it's paid after that. But it's very easy to use once you get started. So what you can do with Hootsuite as well is not only schedule your posts on multiple channels in one place, but you can also see your feeds, and you can see your messages, and you can send out messages. So you're not even clicking between tabs anymore.
Exactly. It's a perfect
yeah,
dashboard
it's all
for
about
you.
Excuse me?
It's a perfect dashboard for you to just, again, save time and not having to log into all these sites. You can see everything in one area.
Exactly. So that's my favorite thing to automate. I also, a lot of it is actually bulk work. So write your blog post and your email newsletter in one sitting and then schedule it out to go in advance. There are all these amazing scheduling tools. You can schedule your post on WordPress. You can schedule your emails to go out on MailChimp or Constant Contact, whatever it is you're using. Mm-hmm. So that's truly what I recommend with automating. Something else that I got really excited about when I found out about it was, have you heard of Zapier or If This Then That?
I've heard of This Then That, but I haven't heard of the other one.
Okay, so they are online apps where you can connect two different apps together and set a trigger. So, for example, I can say, if I add a new contact to my CRM, I want you to start an email draft for me. So what I did that with Zapier. That's Z as in Zulu, A, P as in Paul, I, E as in Echo, R as in Romeo.com. Okay. I do this when I'm networking, so I have a few zaps. I scan the business card that I get. It goes into a certain program. Then Zapier recognizes that I put in a new card. It creates a contact for me in my CRM. Then it realizes there was a contact created in my CRM, and it starts a new email draft in Gmail that says, hey, it was so nice to meet you, and then it just sits there until I come in and I actually customize it to, the person I'm sending it to. I remember the first few times I went to networking events and I didn't have this. It took me an hour every single time to input all this information. And after setting up a few actions through Zapier or if this, then that, took me 10 minutes. And it was mostly just scanning the business card.
Wow, that's powerful, because I think most people do get hung up on those follow-ups. But here's the tools that they can actually utilize right away at the event.
Yes. Yes.
Those are huge. Those are huge.
So anyway, I say automate as much as you can, especially your social media, and schedule by scheduling it out in advance, your social media, your blog posts, your emails, and also try to do the work in bulk too.
Mm-hmm. And again, that's key. We need to learn how to manage our time much more efficiently, blocking out times. I always share that myself with clients. You need to, this is part of your marketing, so it has to be a priority. You need to block out, if it's just an hour at a time, but stay focused during that hour on creating your postings or creating your email and your blog. Again, I love that the word you use is bulk time, because that way you're being more effective in what you're putting together. You know, we're getting down just under 4 minutes, and I wanted to ask you this question here, and then I wanted to ask a final question of you. But do you recommend that entrepreneurs do their own online marketing or outsource it to like an agency like yours?
I say don't wait to outsource it if you can't afford it. Get started. Don't be afraid to make mistakes, learn along the way. And then, like I said earlier, once you get to the point where you need to outsource it, need to, whether or not you've gotten big or you just need to start getting results, then you have all this data to look at. So I say if you can't afford it, start out doing it yourself. Maybe bring in a coach or a consultant to see what it is that you've done so far and give you recommendations, and then go from there.
Very, very good point. Very good point, because they can't wait. Most people that I hear from when it comes to email marketing, they say, well, you know, I'll wait until I get a list. You don't want to wait to get a list. Even if you only have 3 clients, you have a list.
You have a list.
Yes. You start with your email marketing, because that is an awesome tool to use to get in front of them. So I guess our audience can understand a little bit more on, you know, you're all about it. Taking action. I can tell that just by everything you shared today. So what actions do you recommend our listeners take after listening to today's show?
I love that question. So when you're spending a lot of time marketing and not getting results, it's because a lot of times it's because you're stretched too thin and you're frustrated. So I say take a few minutes after this and write down everything it is that you're doing to market your business. What it is that you're consistent with, and what it is that you actually enjoy doing, and what it is that you're getting results, whatever the results you're setting out to get are. Then look at everything you're not being consistent with, you're not getting results, cut that out. Even if it's the right thing to do for your business, the type of business you're in, cut it out because it's not serving you, and you can spend your time better elsewhere. So just write down everything you're doing and take a good, hard look at how it's serving you.
Okay, we've got a minute and a half left. Would you go back and tell the audience one more time about your free offer for them?
Yeah, well, you guys, I just launched my Facebook group called the Unstoppable Leaders Collective for online entrepreneurs who are out to make an impact in the world. I would love to see you there. And I have a free gift on that group, which is 11 tools you need to run a successful online business. Go to Envivo Creative, my business name, .com/leaders, and you'll be sent to the Facebook group.
And I will definitely post it up on social media today on the So Social Radio Show page this afternoon, so they'll get that link, as well as those 3 action steps that you said. Write down everything that you do or currently doing that you enjoy, and the results that you're getting, because those are awesome and amazing action steps. Oh my gosh, we're out of time. We're going to have to wrap this up here real quick. But Tara, thank you so much for calling in today, joining us, letting us introduce you to our listeners. And I know I'll provide all this information for everyone to connect with you so that they can continue the conversation with you. We want to make sure everyone knows to join us every Wednesday on the So Social Radio Show on TalkNetworkRadio.com. And everyone go out, make it a great social week.